What is up, everybody? Louis back here again for another interesting night of fights. The main event, 185 pounds men's middleweight. Number 7, Sean Strickland taking on unranked MAGOMEDOV. Why is this fight happening? We don't know. Sean Strickland wants money. MAGOMEDOV has a huge opportunity here. Sean Strickland also has an opportunity. If he can get a finish, maybe he's next line for the title. Who knows? 185 is a mess. In the co-main event, 155 pounds men's lightweight. You got a ranked matchup here. Both guys battling it out, trying to take one step higher into the top 10. ISMAGULOV, number 13, taking on Grant Dawson, number 15. Big fight for either guy. Very big. 155, we all know, is a meat grinder, and it's impossible to climb up those ranks. So it should be fun. Both guys, similar style, similar skill sets, should be interesting. And we got Ismail BONFIM making his return to the UFC after a very impressive debut from him, taking out Terrence McKinney. Should be interesting. A lot of hype on him. And then Kevin Lee's making his return under the radar. He's the main event of the prelims at 170 pounds again. Don't know how I feel about that. But he's taking on FAKHREDINOV. And Renat has got a huge opportunity as well. And my most anticipated fight, the first fight on the card, 265 pounds men's heavyweight, Alexander King Kong Romanov taking on IVANOV. Just a fun slot fest, higher level slot fest, I guess you'd say, but it's the first fight on the card. So, yeah, very interesting card. Let's get right into it. 12 fights, 265 men's heavyweight, Alexander Romanov taking on IVANOV. Romanov took on Marcin Tybura his last fight. Actually, he took on Alexander Volkov, but he just got his takedown stuffed and he got knocked TKO'd. So we're not going to learn too much from that. But both guys fought Tybura their last fight. So I'm going to compare those two as evenly as I can. First round, he gets double underhooks, shrug by, takes the back, gets a nice big mat return. And then he gets the cross wrist, lands some nice ground and pound there. A ton of ground and pound, arguably a 10-8. But he didn't really hurt him, but he just kept punching him in the face, like, for pretty much the whole round. In the second round, he gets an over 100 hook to the fence. Not able to get a takedown, though. And then he starts landing some left hooks at range. And he shoots a straight double. A little desperate, a little sloppy. Gets stuffed, eats some 1-2s at range. And then he falls on his kick and gives up his back, eats some ground and pound. He is able to pop out the back the last 10 seconds and land some ground and pound, but not enough. Third round, he's very tired at this point. He eats some jabs and some 1-2s at range. He just kind of swings some wild hooks. He's looking for the body lock. He can't get it. Tybura just kind of pieces him up. And, yeah, 2 rounds to 1, Tybura. IVANOV took on Marcin Tybura his last fight. In the first round, he lands a 1-2 counter off of his overhand. He lands some 1-2s at range and some counters, but then he eats some overhands in return, and then he lands a counter uppercut, and then he gets pressed in the pocket, though, after that. But then in the second round, he lands a triple jab, overhand left. He lands some hooks inside the pocket whenever Tybura is pressing him. He presses forward with some 1-2s inside the pocket, and then he's at open range, just kind of throwing, lands some hooks, but he eats a 1-2 in return. Tybura had the straighter punches, and then in the third round, he just gets clinched to the fence and gets passed by and gives up his back for the whole round, completely exhausted. So I don't know what to make of this. But you got IVANOV plus 115, Alexander Romanov minus 135. Oh, yeah. Both these guys are ranked, by the way. They're at the bottom of the 15. Let's see real quick. So we got Bagoy's 15, Romanov is 14, so who's going to stay in the rankings? But, yeah, I really don't know. Romanov just disappointing his last 2 fights. IVANOV, I don't think he's the better wrestler, and I don't think he's a superior striker than Volkov, but I think Ivanov is going to be able to at least stay on the feet with him and make it tough for him. And Ivanov can wrestle a little bit. It's just a really hard one. But I just don't believe in Romanov anymore. You know, I mean, what's he going to do? Is he going to take him down? We know Blagoy gets tired in the third round. Well, Romanov gets tired in the third round. So those first 2 rounds, it's going to be a toss-up. But I think Blagoy is just too tough to, like, get thrown around like that. Plus 115. I'm going to go with the underdog. The whole fight to go under 1.5 rounds, though. Plus 165. Who knows? But I'm going to go with the underdog. Blagoy-Ivanov. Second fight on the card at 125 pounds, women's flyweight. You got Ivana Petrovic taking on Luana Carolina. Petrovic took on Yelena Yelena Wozniak in Aries FC, her last fight. She's making her UFC debut. In the first round, she gets clinched to the fence, and then she gets dropped with an elbow pretty early on. But then she rushes, and she gets an over-100 and gets the trip takedown, kind of wants to get that one back. Then in the second round, she gets a blast double whenever she gets pressed right into half guard. She gets a full mount, lands some nice ground and pound, attempts to go for the toe hold, but then she's able to take her back and then get both hooks in, land some nasty ground and pound, and finish out that round. But it was a good submission threat she had. And then in the third round, she presses forward with some jabs. She's able to slip the hooks. She eats some crosses, but she gets a clinch to the fence, gets an outside trip, takes it back, more ground and pound. Really solid performance from her. And then Luana Carolina, she took on Joanne Wood her last fight. In the first round, she eats a 1-2 and she gets clinched to the fence, but she's able to pummel and work her way out of there. And then she eats a 1-2 and some wide hooks, but then she's able to get to the tie clinch and she lands some knees in there. And then she gets clinched off of a back fist though, but then she eats some jabs whenever she's loading up, trying to land a big shot. And then in the second round, she loads up, she circles along the outside, her kick gets caught and she gets clinched again to the fence, but then she eats some elbows and hooks inside the clinch, but then she's able to land a nice 1-2 at open, starts finding her range. Then in the third round, she lands a counter right hook inside the pocket, but then she gets pressed with some 1-2s. She gets clinched and eats some knees for her troubles, but then she throws a 1-2 and then she gets countered with a cross or an overhand at range. Decent performance from her. Luana Carolina as plus 185. Ivana Petrovic is minus 215. This is a tough one, but I like this line's insane, and my rule is not to bet the underdog women, but Luana Carolina is just unreliable in my opinion. And these newcomers, for whatever reason, they've been having a lot of success. I can't completely explain it, but Luana Carolina is nothing really special, to be honest. I'm going to bet on Ivana Petrovic, but put your money on Luana Carolina or don't bet this fight at all. I think Ivana's wrestling is going to play a big factor. I think she's going to be able to take her down, get her back, and beat her up. Maybe Luana looks good in the first round or so, but I think Ivana, if it goes 3 rounds, I like Ivana. Don't like the money, but I got to pick the newcomer, Ivana Petrovic. Third fight of the night at 155 pounds, men's lightweight. KUTATELADZE taking on Elvis Brenner. Another fun matchup. KUTATELADZE took on Damir Ismagulov his last fight. We got a lot of good grapplers fighting each other on this card. In the first, Damir Ismagulov, he's ranked 13, I believe. In the first round, he blitzes with the 1-2, lands a leg kick. But his leg kick's a little bit too short though. But then he slides in the pocket, is able to rip the body, gets out of there. He's able to duck the hook, and he's able to get to a clinch, land some knees and an elbow in the clinch. Then he's able to land a front face kick at range. Then he's able to pummel into the clinch. Then in the second round, he gets kept at range and he eats some jabs, but he shoots to the fence. His takedown gets stuffed though, can't complete it. But then he lands a step in right cross, and then he lands a cross, left hook, leg kick combination. Then he shoots, can't secure it, but he's mixing it up. And then in the third round, he eats some 1-2s at range, and he's able to land his leg kicks again. He lands some 1-2s at range, but he gets clipped with some hooks. And then he's able to stuff the crackdown attempt, and he's able to get on top. But the ref stands it up because he lands a knee, and it looks like it was a knee to the head, and it wasn't. So Herb Dean completely screwed that fight up. Ref stands it up. He should have been able to be on top and had 15 seconds of ground and pound. I think he could have won that fight, but, they screwed him. But he landed a beautiful knee to the chest, not the head. And then Elvis Brenner, he took on Zubara Tukagov his last fight. In the first round, he circles on the outside, but he eats some straights and a hook off of his jump knee. And then he eats some hooks kind of standing at range. And he's a guy that he'll just kind of skirt the fence the whole fight pretty much and try to land some big shots. Then the second round, he gets pressured to the fence and he eats some jabs and then some straights. But he lands a left body hook. And then he follows up with a nice leg kick. Then in the third round, he lands a back fist at range, and he gets shot to the fence, but he's able to defend this double leg. Pretty good defense from him. Then they both just land jabs at range, and some get through, some don't. But pretty even fight. Elvis Brenner plus 500, Graham KUTATELADZE minus 675. I don't like this line at all. It's a little crazy. There's another big line on this fight card, but I don't think this is the time to take the underdog. Elvis Brenner just doesn't do much. I just wasn't impressed with him watching him. He might land a big shot, but anybody can land a big shot on anybody. Graham KUTATELADZE, I think he's going to be a lot more aggressive. I think he's fought the better competition as well. I think he's going to be able to take him down, clinch him, wear him out, beat him up. Brenner might be dangerous in the first round. Minus 675 is a little crazy, but Graham KUTATELADZE by decision, plus 120. I see it going to decision. Elvis Brenner's pretty tough, so I'm going to go Graham KUTATELADZE. Fourth fight of the night at women's featherweight, 145 pounds. The weight class is not dead. Yana Santos taking on Karol Rosa. Yana Santos, she's coming up from 135 against Holly Holm. In the first round, she gets the clinch to the fence. She gets clinched to the fence. She eventually is able to pummel out. And she gets an overhook with the overhook and some nice elbows. But then she eats some side kicks and some straight lefts. And then she gets left hand and knee picked with a punch off of her kick. Then in the second round, she gets pushed down with the front kick. And then she's able to get the body. She gets the body lock tripped down into half guard, eats a bunch of ground and pound, and then gives up side control as well. Holly Holm is really good on the ground. Then in the third round, she lands a 1-2 collar tie, but then she gets taken down with the double under hook trip. And then she gets pressured to the fence, and she eats a jab, and then gets double-legged again. So there's just not a whole lot to report there. Holly Holm was way better than her on the ground. Karol Rosa took on Norma Dumont in her last fight. In the first round, she initiates the clinch, but then she gets reversed on the fence with double unders. She gets pressured with some 1-2s, but then she lands overhand and pulls tie clinch, lands some nice knees to the body. Then in the second round, she gets pressed with an overhand, and she gets clinched, but she's with double unders, gives up double unders, but then she's able to land a 1-2 and gets the body lock situation. Quick takedown on the fence, short time left. Then in the third round, she lands a 1-2-1 combo into the clinch, but then she gets reversed from there. But then she's able to drop her with a 1-2 at range, but then she just clinches her instead of punching her. So, bad IQ. But then she gets the head and arm throw, and then she lands some more elbows in the clinch at the end there. Pretty good performance from her, I would say. Karol Rosa, minus 175. Yana Santos, plus 150. Yeah, man, I just don't know. I really don't. Yana Santos had a kid recently. I believe, yeah, after her last fight, she had a kid. Her last fight was March 20. No, it wasn't. Okay. She's coming off having a kid. Her last fight, she had a kid before that. So, it's just tough. I'm looking at the tape. I think Karol Rosa's better, except Karol Rosa waited till the last round to do anything, but she hurt Norma Dumont. She dropped her. And Yana Santos just could not get anything going, and she's moving up from 135. And, yeah, this is a stupid pick, I guess, but I'm going to pick Karol Rosa. Put your money on Yana Santos. It's women's featherweight, or don't bet it. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Karol Rosa. We'll see. I don't know. Co-main event of the prelims at 145 pounds, men's featherweight. Joe Anderson Brito taking on Weston Wilson. This is a violent one. Joe Anderson Brito took on Lucas Alexander his last fight. In the first round, he gets the backpack off of a missed kick, gets the mat return, jumps on the back, gets a rear naked choke, pulls him down on the ground, vicious rear naked choke. Not much to it, man. And then before that, he took on Andre Feely. First round, he eats some jabs, but he lands some hard step-in jabs, and he gets the inside foot placement on Feely, and he's able to land some of those overhand rights they're getting through, and drops him with one punch and jumps on him, hammer fists him, gets a TKO. So, yeah, I thought Feely was pretty good, man. So, it was pretty impressive. Before that, and then he took on Bill Algeo, so we can get some data. In the first round, he lands some overhand. He clinches him to the fence, gets a body lock to the double leg. He takes his back, gets both hooks in, but then he gets reversed. But he had a good thing going there. He's just not like an expert on the back. Back on his feet, he lands a leg kick and a 1-2, then gets into the clinch. Then in the second round, he lands some jabs, gets the body lock double, tries to go for double, but it gets stuffed, and he eats some hooks. But he presses forward with some 1-2s, but then he eats some counter overhands, but he's able to get through with the double. But it gets stuffed again. A decent shot from him, couldn't quite complete it. And then Weston Wilson, he took on Toronto Ishiara in ex-MMA. He's making his UFC debut, so very interesting. In the first round, he lands some step-in leg kicks and he blitzes, but it's a little too short, can't hit the target. But then he clips him with some step-in jabs, and he lands a blitz, and he lands some straight rights. But then he eats a counter hook, and he's able to land an uppercut in the clinch. Then he's able to. He takes the double leg, and then he blitzes forward with a single, but he's not able to quite hold him there. So he blitzes forward, gets a single, but he's not able to hold him down, can't really convert it. Then he walks into an overhand left and just gets KO'd. So, yeah, I don't know. But Weston Wilson's plus 800, Joe Anderson Brito's minus 1250. I'm going with Weston Wilson because Joe Anderson Brito is not worth minus 1250. I don't care what happened to Weston Wilson in his last fight. And he's a newcomer, and for whatever reason, I have horrible luck with these UFC newcomers making their debut, and I'm going to bet on it because plus 800. So, yeah, and his record's not too bad. Go to his record real quick. Yeah, so I couldn't find any fights before his last fight, but his fight before that, like, he's had 4 wins since then. I just couldn't find tape on it, which is annoying. He's got a rear naked choke and a couple guillotine chokes, so I think he can pull it out. Why not? Weston Wilson by submission if you want to do that, but I'm going to go with Weston on this one, you know? Main event of the prelims at 170 pounds, men's welterweight. Kevin Motown Phenom Lee taking on Rinat Fakhretdinov. Kevin Lee, about a year and 3 months layoff, so we'll see. I got some things to say about it at the end. Before he took on Diego Sanchez his last fight in Eagle FC at 165 pounds. In the first round, he walks into some body and some leg kicks, though, but then he lands some jabs. He gets a single to double off of the fence. Then he's able to get the figure 4 around the legs like Khabib, and he takes his back, lands some nice ground and pound, looks for a rear naked choke. Then in the second round, he stalks with a straight right, and then he lands a lead left hook. But he gets wobbled with some leg kicks from Diego Sanchez, and then he walks into some straight shots, and you could tell he got hurt. He had trouble pushing off, and he wasn't able to have nearly as much footwork, wasn't as dynamic on the feet. So something went wrong, or Diego Sanchez has the best leg kicks on the planet. Then he eats a knee, but then he's able to get the double leg, stacks him forward, lands some nice ground and pound, kind of going for the finish toward the end there. Then in the third round, he lands some lead hooks and then a head kick, but then he walks into some jabs, but then he drops him with the counter hook and lands some nice ground and pound. And then there's 2 more rounds. I'm not going to go through it. But, yeah, dude, he just didn't look great taking on Diego Sanchez. And then Rinat Fakhretdinov, he took on Bryan Battle his last fight. He just basically took him down every single time. And I think not that great of data on there, especially considering Bryan Battle. It was his first or second cut coming down from 185, so maybe that got to him. But before that, he took on Andreas Michailidis. This was a lot more happened in this fight. In the first round, he lands some jabs. He gets a double leg off the fence, hits a couple mat returns, keeps him down there, makes him work. And then he gets an underhook to the fence and gets his head under his chin. But then his single attempt is stuffed in a front headlock. He gets reversed with an elevator, but then he's able to roll through and takes his back. And he's able to use the underhook, get to the back to the clinch, up to the feet. Couldn't keep the back position, but he keeps that underhook against the fence really tight. Then in the second round, he gets an overhand, and then he gets the double leg off the fence, lands some nice ground and pound on full guard. He's not really trying to finish the fight. He's just doing enough to stay busy, but he's working, and the strikes could add up. Then in the third round, he stuffs a single leg with a guillotine, then he goes behind him, snap down, go behind, right in the half guard, lands some more ground and pound, kind of rides it out. So, yeah, very interesting. Rinat Fakhretdinov, minus 200. Kevin Lee, plus 170. I don't like that Kevin Lee's at 170. He should have never been a 170-pounder. When he fought D-Rod, he lost. He was winning, and he gave it up. I don't like him at 70. I think he can make 55, and he's not. He's been off for a year and 3 months. A lot of people are saying it's because he's rehabbing his leg and getting healthy. I get that. But Rinat Fakhretdinov is a grinder, and Kevin Lee, I don't know whose wrestling is better, but Kevin Lee, he couldn't do whatever he wanted to Diego Sanchez. Rinat Fakhretdinov, yeah, he can't complete every single takedown he shoots, but he's kind of ragdolling guys, and he tires the guys out. Now, on the striking department, Kevin Lee is going to be a little crisper. I get that, but I'm just not going to back Kevin Lee off this. That underdog money is juicy. I get it. I just don't like the layoff. I don't like him at 170. I never did. ROMANOV FAKHREDINOV is the real deal. He's dominant in the wrestling. I think it might come down to the striking, or FAKHREDINOV might be able to take Kevin Lee down. But minus 200, a little steep, but I just can't back Kevin Lee. I'm going to go with Renaud. First fight on the main card, 185 pounds, men's middleweight. Bruno the Hulk Ferreira taking on UFC newcomer, RUZIBOEV, I believe. And, yeah, should be interesting. Because Ferreira coming off a big win, and now he's fighting a newcomer. So, who knows? Both guys like to get it done in the first round, though. But Bruno took on Greg Rodriguez his last fight. In the first round, he lands a lunge overhand, lands some front kicks. But then he eats an uppercut in the color die. His single attempt gets stuffed, but he eats some jabs at range. He lands a leg kick, but he tries to take his back. But then he gets underhooked and kind of pancaked down. And he gives up his back, but then he's able to pop right back up there, so decent scramble ability. Then he's able to slip Gregory's jab, stance switch, straight left down the pipe, KO. One punch, dude. But it's the thing people forgot, Gregory Rodriguez is a little chinny sometimes. So, but yeah, very good performance. And then RUZIBOEV took on Alex DePaula his last fight. In the first round, he misses the overhand, but he gets taken out on the body lock trip. Then he's able to push him off of him. Then he's able to, he lands a spin kick. Then he gets taken down off of there, but he's able to hip heist. Good scramble ability from him as well. Gets on top. He's able to hook the leg, get on top, lands some nasty hammer fist, gets a TKO. So this dude's a grinder. Nursultan plus 190, Bruno minus 225. Like I said, both guys mostly first round finishes. It's just going to be a banger. It's going to be a war. So I'm just going to take the underdog in this situation. You know, I don't know. There's really no way to tell. They both got power. Nursultan, he can get out of sticky situations on the ground. And so can Bruno. So who knows, dude? I'm just going to go with the underdog. It's probably going to end the first round. Plus 190. We'll see what happens. You might want to hit the over just in case, but who knows? I don't know. Second fight on the main card at 155 pounds. Men's lightweight. Ismael Bonfim, coming off a very big debut as well, taking on Benoit SAINT-DENIS, the God of War. So Bonfim took on Terrence McKinney his last fight. In the first round, he lands a counter left hook off of his jab. He gets a knee pick, but then he gets clinched with the underhook though. Good defense by McKinney. Then he's able to drop him with the right hook at range. But then he gets drugged down, but he's able to hip heist and get on top, get back up to his feet. Then in the second round, he lands some uppercut and lands an uppercut and some counter hooks. He lands a left hook. And then a jump knee off of Terrence's level change. Gets a knockout. Very spectacular stuff. He was able to cut Terrence off of the cage. And Terrence was on the back foot most of the fight. And that's kind of the key to beating him, and he figured that out. So, very good performance. Then Benoit Saint-Denis, he took on Gabriel Miranda his last fight. In the first round, he hurts him with a body kick. Keeps the whizzer, and he's able to take the top position. But then he eats some straights in the pocket. But then he's able to land a back fist, and he's able to stuff the body lock attempt, gets on top of him, kind of steps over him. In the back on the feet, he drops him with some wild left overhands, and he just kind of moves through these body kicks. He's able to eat those body kicks, lands a beautiful shot. Then the second round, Miranda's already dazed and confused, just rushes him with the hook flurry, gets a knockout. So he smells blood in the water, he goes for it. Gotta respect that. Benoit Saint-Denis, plus 255, Ismael Bonfim, minus 305. Another line I don't like, but Benoit Saint-Denis, tough as nails. But I just think Bonfim, seems like he's the better grappler. And I think he's more explosive. He has more explosive moments. I don't know if you're going to knock out Benoit Saint-Denis, but he should have been knocked out in that fight a while ago. He just wasn't. So he's capable of being finished. He just technically wasn't finished. And I just think Bonfim, I think he carries his momentum. I mean, Terrence McKinney is a pretty good guy to beat in your UFC debut. I think he's got a lot of confidence coming into this. I'm going to go with Bonfim. Both guys kind of have similar skill sets, I would say. I just think Bonfim, a little more powerful, a little cleaner of a striker. Both guys, I think Benoit's going to try to grapple him. I think Bonfim's defense is better. So, tough one, but I'm going to go with Ismael in this one. we'll see if he can continue the momentum. Third fight on the main card at 125 pounds, women's flyweight, Ariane Lipski taking on Melissa Gatto. Should be interesting. Lipski coming off somewhat of a big win against JJ Aldrich. In the first round, she lands some counter hooks off of a jab, but she gets doubled off of her 1-2, but then she's able to defend that on the fence. Pretty good defense, doesn't want to get taken to the ground again, but then she's able to rock her with a knee, followed up by a right hook. Then in the second round, she throws a head kick, and then a left-right, and then a left hook combination. Then she's able to rip the body. She lands a straight right to the head. She's able to stuff a double leg attempt, lands a nasty knee to the head, really making her pay for this. Then in the third round, she lands a straight right and then a 2-1-2 combination. And then she gets doubled, but then she's able to pop right back up, and then she's able to take her down with an outside trip. So beautiful stuff. And she didn't want to give up a single takedown. She was already winning at that point. And yeah, shows that she takes pride in staying on the feet, and she doesn't want to get put in those grappling situations. But before that, though, she did get KO'd by Priscilla Cachoeira, just rushing her. That's bad, but I think the good news is she probably learned a lesson from this, and she had a way better performance against JJ Aldrich. So that's what I'm going to take away. Then Melissa Gatto, she took on Teresa Cortez, but I didn't look at that one because a lot more grappling heavy than Lipski. Lipski's more of a kickboxer. But before that, she took on Gerard Eubanks. In the first round, she gets rushed with some hooks and taken out with a body lock. Nothing to report there. Just kind of gets ridden out. So, unfortunate. Then in the second round, she lands some jabs, but then she gets clinched to the fence. She circles along the outside. She's able to land some 1-2s. She gets doubled, but then she's able to hit a half-guard sweep. She's able to reverse. She's able to maintain half-guard. So, pretty good turnaround from her. And you can feel the momentum starting to shift a little bit. And then in the third round, she gets rushed with some hooks. She circles on the outside. She jabs, and then she lands a front kick to the body and knocks out Gerard Eubanks to the body. A little bit of a delayed reaction, but it was nasty. It didn't look like it hurt, but it sure did. Melissa Gatto minus 230. Ariane Lipski plus 195. A little tough, but, you know, I think Lipski's made some massive improvements. And, you know, Melissa Gatto certainly capable of knocking her out, but Gatto knocked Sijara out to the body. Lipski got knocked out to the head, so I'm not going to take too much stock into that one. I'm just really impressed with Lipski's improvement against JJ Aldrich. Plus 195, basically plus 200. Lower level women's MMA. I'm going to go with her. I'm going to go with Ariane Lipski. I think she can get it done. I think she has a cleaner striking. I think she'll be able to keep it at range. I'm going to go with Ariane. Featured fight of the night at 170 pounds, men's welterweight, Max Payne Griffin taking on UFC not newcomer, but young buck Michael Morales, trying to make his way up in the ranks here. Max Payne Griffin almost beat Neil Magny that one time, so, you know, this would be a good one for Michael Morales if he can get through. Good test for him. But got to get through Max Payne. He took on Tim Means his last fight. In the first round, he landed straight to the body and then a left hook, and he's able to drop one with the right hook after that. Really nice work right off the get-go. Max Payne does have some heavy power early on in his fights. He looks for the jabs. He lands a straight slide in, straight right, and then he kind of circles along the outside. Then in the second round, slows down a little bit, but then he jabs, lands some leg kicks along the outside, but then he gets cut off and clipped with a couple overhands wherever he's throwing his kicks. But then he just drops him out of nowhere. Tim Means kind of rushes him, drops him with a clean, straight right. That's all he needed, man. Then in the third round, he stuffs a double with the whizzer, and then he's able to reshoot, get that takedown off the fence. And then he's able to keep the single on the fence. He gets reversed with a guillotine, but then he's able to keep the whizzer and doesn't want to give up those takedowns. Gets taken down right at the end there, but it didn't matter. I thought he already had the fight in the bag, so good work from him. And Michael Morales, he took on Adam Fugit his last fight. In the first round, he pumps his jabs from the outside, lands some front kicks, and then he lands a straight right and then a jab, and then he throws a right hand, but then he gets taken out on the body lock trip. But he's able to keep the butterfly guard, and he's always trying to work up. And as soon as Fugit tries to pass too quickly, he's able to stay right back up. So he's not going to settle for being on his back. But then back on the feet, he overswings with an overhand. Then he eats a hook for his trouble on the fence. Then in the second round, he lands a jab and then a straight right down the middle. But then he eats some lead hooks whenever he's on his back foot. Fugit starts backing him up, and you can see Morales getting hit with some things there. But he lands a straight right and then a left hook. And then followed up by another right. And he's able to defend the clinch this time, gets double underhooks, not going to let it happen again. Then in the third round, he eats some straights whenever he's coming in. But then he's able to, and he kind of backs out with his chin up. He's getting caught a little bit, but he's able to kind of circle. But then he's able to drop him with the 1-2 off of Fugit's overhand whenever he's loading up and jumps on top of him, gets a TKO. smells blood in the water, gets it done. Love to see that, especially from a young guy. He knows how to finish. Michael Morales, minus 250. Max Payne Griffin, plus 210. Don't like the price tag too much, but, you know, Michael Morales might get hit with something big early, but I think Max Payne slows as the fight goes on. Morales' cardio looked good as the fight was going on. I think Morales has the cleaner strikes. He has more volume. I don't think Max Payne's going to be able to take him down. If he does, Morales is going to get right back up. And I just think Morales kind of pieces him up at range as the fight goes on, to be honest. I'm going to go for Michael Morales here. I think he passes his test, only 24 years old, and he might be the next up-and-comer at 170. Co-main event of the evening at 155 pounds. Yet again, men's lightweight. This one is very fun. Damir Ismagulov, number 13, taking on number 15, Grant KGD Dawson. It's like impossible to get up there in 155, but I'm excited. Huge fight for either guy. Both guys trying to work their way steadily up these ranks, and they need to get a win over each other to do it. Damir Ismagulov took on Arman Tsarukyan in his last fight. In the first round, he lands some outside jabs to the body, but then he gets taken out the double off of his leg kick, but then he gives up his back standing. He's not able to break the hands, but then he's able to stop the lateral drop, and then he's able to kind of step over him, gets him out for a quick second, but then he gets reversed. Tsarukyan's able to buck him off right away, so a little bit of excitement there, though. But then in the second round, he lands some jabs to a lead hook whenever he gets pressed. But then and then he gets dumped with a single leg, just like a snatch single. Tsarukyan is hitting, gives up his back whenever he's getting up, and he gets put in a rear naked choke attempt toward the end. Then in the third round, he just kind of oversteps when he's throwing his hook, and he gets taken out with the single. He uses the guillotine, though, to get free out of there. But then he's still clinched up. He can't really get free, can't get anything going. Then he reacts to some feints, and then he gets taken out with the single yet again. And you're going to see his Magulov. You're going to see his morale drop as the fight went on. And then Grant Dawson, he took on Mark Madsen his last fight. Note, he did miss weight by 1.5 pounds, just so everybody knows. But, yeah, Mark Madsen in the first round, he gets rocked with the Russian hook real quick, but then he's able to dive right in on that leg right away. And then he gets able to get the single, and he picks it up. He's able to finish the single, and then he's able to get the figure four around the back, lands some nice ground and pound. He's working for that rear naked choke, but he's taking his time. He's not rushing. And then in the second round, he backs out of the single, and he drops down to an ankle. He's like trying to come all the way up off the ground with it, and then he's able to finish to a single leg dump, and then he gets one hook in against the fence, and then he's able to transition into half guard. Some steady ground and pound, nothing crazy. He's not trying to gas himself out yet. Then in the third round, he lands some overhands and some front kicks, and then a leg kick to a right cross. Nice combination. Then he drops him with the leg kick at range. A very nasty one. And then he's able to take his back, get the rear naked choke submission. Slow and steady build up to the third round. Gets that finish. Really good performance from him. And Mark Madsen, Greco-Roman wrestler, and he was able to beat him at his own game. Grant Dawson, minus 110. Ismagulov, minus 110. You know, this is a toss-up, honestly. I think Ismagulov has the cleaner striking, but I think Grant Dawson is more tenacious on the takedowns. And Ismagulov, I know he's fighting Tsarukyan. I think he can get taken down. I think Dawson can take him down. I don't think Ismagulov's going to try to take Dawson down as much as he's going to try to take him down. I think Dawson's defense will be decent, and we'll see. And the knockout of Grant Dawson was he would get tired later on in fights. That happened, and then his last two fights, his cardio looked incredible in my opinion. And I think he has a better submission game. I think if Dawson gets him down, he's really going to take advantage of it. He's going to get on his back. He's not going to let him off because Ismagulov had trouble standing up on Tsarukyan. I get Tsarukyan's a little ahead of Dawson, but minus 110. I'm going to go with Grant Dawson. I think he's on the rise. I think he can get it done. I think it's a great fight. And it's Grant Dawson by submission plus 350. I think it's possible. I think Dawson can break him down and maybe in the third round get a submission. We'll see. But I'm going to go with Grant on this one. I think he got it. Main event of the evening at 185 pounds, men's middleweight, Sean Tarzan Strickland taking on Abus Magomedov. This is only Abus' second fight. He's got a dance with number 7, Sean Strickland. How did this happen? I don't know. 185 is weird. Sean Strickland said he wants to get paid. But you know what? I'm here for it. This is a huge opportunity for Abus, obviously. And then if Sean Strickland, if he can get a finish or an impressive performance, he might be in line to fight for the title next. We'll see. And then you got Robert Whittaker and Dricus Du Plessis fighting. Who knows what's going to happen with that fight? I guess the winner's fighting for a title, but who fights after that? Maybe it's Sean Strickland, maybe it's Abus. We'll see, though. I think this will be a fun fight, though. I think both guys have a lot to prove in this fight, and I think we're going to get the best versions of each guy in this fight. Sean Strickland took on Nasruddin Imavov, his last fight. Short notice replacement, 205 pounds, but it's all fair. In the first round, he stalks with some jabs and lands some leg kicks, but then he gets clipped with some left hooks coming in. But then he's able to slip the overhand. He's able to land a nice counter right hook. And then in the second round, he lands some jabs at range, and then he starts slowly adding his right cross to it. And then he's able to get the underhook, shoot to the fence. He does that several times throughout this fight just to kind of break up the pace. And I think it's brilliant. I think it tired Imavov out. And then he lands a 1-2 and then a left hook, and then he jabs. But then he kind of dips his head when he's throwing, and then he kind of gets clipped there. But he realized it and stopped doing that. And then he's able to, then he ducks the hook, gets a nice body lock trip. Doesn't do much with it, but he still gets it. And he's just making Imavov think about a bunch of different things. I like that strategy. Then in the third round, he lands some teeps at range. He kind of flicks his jab. Doesn't do a whole lot. Fourth and fifth round, it turns up. But Abus doesn't have any fifth round footage, so I don't really see the point. But Strickland can go in the fourth and fifth round. He's been in several 5-round fights, and he can turn up the heat. He actually turned it up in the Imavov fight. So then Abus Magomedov, not a ton of tape on him, honestly. Before his first fight in the UFC, he took on Dustin Stoltzfus in the first round. Very short fight, front face kick to an uppercut, knockout. That's it. Before this, there's a bunch of fights I could not find tape on. I tried, but in 2018, he took on Lewis Taylor in the PFL finals. In the first round, he lands a leg kick, but then he eats some leg kicks back at him. And then he backs up and just gets knocked out with the hook. Just a wild lead hook out of nowhere. So that was tough. And then before that, he took on Sadabu Say. In the first round, he lands a head kick, but then he misses the uppercut and a lunge overhand, just kind of extending himself. But then he walks into a head kick, but then he's able to return with a nice jump head kick. It was interesting. Then in the second round, he eats some body kicks, but then he's able to get an uppercut. And then gets a single leg off the fence, lands some nice ground and pound, figure fours the legs, gets them out, lands some nice ground and pound. Finally got it going, so Abus has some skills on the ground, and you would think so with a name like Magomedov. But Abus plus 130, Sean Strickland minus 150. This might be a trap line here, but I think Strickland he does have 5-round cardio. I think if the fight goes 5 rounds, I think Strickland pieces him up and just kind of walks him down. I think Strickland's wrestling defense is going to be decent enough for Abus. And, Abus, the thing I'm worried about is Abus' head kicks. I think he's going to throw a lot of those. Sean might dip his head into one of those, possibly. But I think if this fight can get out of the first round, I think Sean gains more of an advantage. And we just haven't seen too much from Abus. The line isn't that profitable, so I'm going to stick with minus 150. I know what Sean Strickland can do. I know what he did his last fight. I'm going to go Sean Strickland. I don't really think a finish, but I think he can just piece him up over 5 rounds. I'm going to go with Tarzan on this one. All right, everybody. Thanks for riding with me. I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that stuff. Leave a comment. Let me know what's up. Could always use some advice. Let's see some upsets. Let's see some violence. And let's see some profits. And good luck, everyone.